There's so many, it's been so many sedimentary cycles, it's through so many cycles, it makes my head spin. But yeah, here's a black basalt, here's a quartzite. In the matrix, there's little pebbles and clays. They're very angular. These rocks were broken up by something and then piled up in sediment and reformed into a rock. So it's called a conglomerate. Glaciers. When you have a glacial sediment, it's angular. These rocks are very sharp and brittle because glaciers tend to just bulldoze across and through whatever rather than tumble. If this was a conglomerate of river rocks, all these cobbles and boulders within would be really well rounded. So that's what gives us the clue that it's of glacial origin. And then I wanted to pull out my map of the area. You don't have to see anything in detail except the colored stripes. So I've got north here. And you can see each of these colors is a different kind of rock. And this yellow one is the Medicine Bow Peak quartzite, the white, this stuff and the stuff over here. And the bottom of this stack of sediment, we're pretty close to it, is to the west. And then as you go to the east and southeast, you go through different ages of rock in this stack. If you think about these as kind of a layer cake, and I've said this to this group on many other field trips.
Oh, we'll get it sometime.
This layer cake of rocks is standing on end.
Okay.
So it's vertical beds of rock, and the whole stack is 20,000 feet thick. And at the very base of this stack, this layer, very near the base of the stack, labeled H, the headquarter schist, this rock comes out of that headquarter schist.
Oh wow, and it got all the way to the top?
And it got rolled, well, it just got rolled a little bit to the east. Where are we now? Twin Lakes are over here. You know, we're pretty close to the source of this rock. But the point is, it's by the most recent glaciation, it was rolled 10,000 years ago. But the age of this rock, these cobbles were broken up and piled up and turned into this. The name for a glacial conglomerate is diamictite. So that was 2 billion years ago. So it's been, you know, these rocks, the source of the sand in this rock was some ancient mountain range 3 billion years ago now. Got uplifted in a mountain building event. Glaciers took it down, turned it into this rock 2 billion years ago. It's been through who knows how many ice ages, buried and uplifted and then 10,000 years ago it gets rolled over here and seeded in.
And from which direction?
It's to the west, just a little, not too far. We're pretty close on the map to this headquarter schist, but it was moved around in the last ice age.
Wow.
And then I got a couple things for people to take and read. We were speculating on why that giant diamictite glacial erratic boulder was split in two. It has probably something to do with water getting into the cracks, and then when you freeze the water it expands, and geologists call that process frost wedging, because that's how most rocks get broken up over the millennia, is by frost wedging up here because it's so cold in the wintertime. And I thought this was interesting because here's a piece that was obviously broken off of this part of the rock.
Oh, yeah.
You can see how if you
The shape,
moved it over here like this, it would fit perfectly on here. It was probably frost wedged off. And then we noticed that, well, why is that piece laying up there when it came off of the rock down here? And if you look real carefully, you can see the soil kind of getting pushed. And these rocks, there's another geologic technical term, they creep down the hill. And if we had a time-lapse camera set up here over a century or a millennium, you would see the rocks all slowly creeping down the hill as the soils freeze and thaw and water passes through. And you can see how this boulder is kind of bulldozing this little bit, and it's not even that steep of an angle. But if the ground freezes and thaws, the rocks sort of move. And also just, you know, if there's a big rain event or something like that, making it really muddy, they move really slowly. And it would be great to have a time-lapse camera up here over 10 years. We could probably see this thing continue to move.
So that broke off when this rock was up higher.
Yes, yeah.
And it didn't move, but the rock did.
Right. And, you know, maybe it was decades ago when the rock was just this much higher. That'd be really interesting to know. Is
Yeah.
You could measure and see whether this stretch is a tad higher than where it's been weathered directly.
yeah, that's the beauty of geology too. You can make up any story you want.
Kind of like statistics. Huh?
Yeah, not as bad.
Not as bad.
Yeah, believe me,
More facts.
like to try to at least base something on reality.